your host, Otasu Igbenedion and Ohimai Godwin Omaide.
Good morning, Ohimai.
Good morning, Osasu. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Beautiful Sunday morning here in Abuja.
Definitely. I see you're wearing your Sunday's best.
That's right. I'm rocking Tesla concepts.
As always.
That's right. You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you so much, Osi Couture.
Nice.
Well, good morning to our viewers across the world. It's 8 a.m. here in Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital. On today's program, as always, we have a packed episode on politics, entertainment, lifestyle, and sports.
Across the next 2 hours, we'll bring you revolutionary TV content. And of course, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Weekend Show NG. And also our website, www.weekendshowng.com.
Definitely do that right now so you can share your thoughts with us and get an opportunity to get featured on the weekend show. On the program, on the political desk especially, we have Honorable Tony Nwulu, who was the sponsor of the Not Too Young to Run bill, which is now a law thanks to him and Mr. President.
In entertainment, we'll bring you one of Nigeria's finest lyricists, and I'm talking of no other person but Vector the Viper. And also on our lifestyle segment this morning, we're bringing an interview to you with one of Nigeria's finest on the gospel scene, and I'm talking of Abuja's own DJ Enesty.
So stay tuned.
And don't go nowhere.
Welcome back to the program. We are going to take you through the highlights of the week. As you know, President Muhammadu Buhari asked for a environment of about 254 billion naira to be appropriated to the 2019 elections under the Independent National Electoral Commission.
That's quite a huge sum of money.
100% increase from 2015 elections.
Oh my God.
What do you think can be attributed to this increase in electoral appropriation?
Is the APC looking for money to prosecute the 2019 elections?
Well, you see, a couple of people have said that we have more security unrest than we did in 2015, which is debatable, given the fact that Boko Haram was rampant in 2015.
There were bombings in the capital, in Abuja, everywhere here and there. There was real and perceived threat of security breakdown across the nation. So, well, we have had pockets of security issues in Nigeria at this time, but I don't think it's as serious as what we had back then.
Yeah, and I definitely
to warrant this kind of
increase in budgetary spending.
Exactly.
And I know one of the members of the Independent National Electoral Commission had come out to say that due to the economic recession we suffered, due to the current economic standings, that's one of the reasons. But I don't necessarily see the correlation.
Between Nigeria's economic hardships
and
INEC's budget to prosecute the 2019 elections.
It's honestly very confusing, but
very
hopefully
confusing.
We can have someone from the INEC come into our studios and share their thoughts with us on that.
Precisely.
On Wednesday during the week, August 1st to be precise, the Court of Appeal had ruled in favor of the Senate to reorder the elections. So that's another angle to this story of the violence. I know that they had taken a break and they're not going to resume till September.
Yeah.
So another issue now is that this reordering of the election, is it going to make the electoral process more expensive? And is this going to then be justified for this 254 billion naira the president had proposed?
Well, I would like to even see it from a different angle. I think the case of the defections we've witnessed recently from the ruling party to the APC, especially to the PDP, especially in the National Assembly, this presents a very interesting opportunity for us to see and watch out for what is really going to be happening across the next few weeks. Because what that means right now is that the National Assembly now has the powers to revisit the election sequence, which has implications for, which election comes first. Is it the presidential elections or the National Assembly elections, and I guess it's going to be a game of thrones between the National Assembly and the executive.
And you know what was funny? The executive arm of government had initially said that the legislative's proposal to reorder the elections would make it more expensive.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons they weren't necessarily in support of that. So I want to know, and I know I said we'll invite someone from INEC to come and talk about this, but if they do succeed, how much more do they now have to increase the proposed allocation to the Independent National Electoral Commission, given the fact that they didn't budget this into the environment that the president had proposed?
As proposed.
Exactly. So what's going to happen?
Well, I guess we need to get someone from INEC and the National Assembly to debate this and give us a clearer perspective of what's really going to happen.
We definitely do. I know there is also some news from Benue.
From Benue, exactly. We saw the case of a few moments after the governor, the camp from the APC to the PDP, the EFCC suddenly dusted off his files and said he had a case to answer. Quite interesting. And this has raised a lot of concerns, especially online in the social media, with Nigerians debating about the actual independence of the EFCC.
Definitely.
Does this actually mean that there are more governors in the APC right now who have their cases still hanging, who have not been prosecuted simply because they are still in the APC?
So as soon as they cross carpet,
as soon as they cross carpet, and then the EFCC goes after them. So this has real implications for the independence of the EFCC and their ability to carry out their duties without fear or favor, because it didn't quite make sense to me. It was less than about 48 hours after Otom defected from the APC to the PDP, and suddenly the EFCC tells us that he has a case to answer.
Maybe, so let me play the devil's advocate here. Maybe they were building the case, so they hadn't gathered all the facts, enough evidence. They hadn't gathered enough evidence. So as soon as he just,
the evidences came up together.
It all came up at once.
Came together.
Well, that's actually quite an interesting issue to look into, because I remember when the Senate president was stalling his defection to the People's Democratic Party, some attributed it to his fear that he would be further persecuted if he decamped. So a lot of politicians who are actually looking to decamp have that fear, but it seems like that is no longer holding them back. But it's definitely an interesting topic for Nigerians to discuss amongst ourselves. How do we ensure the independence of our Financial Crimes Commission? Because honestly, if we want to get to the bottom of it and bottom of these issues, we have to have an independent commission investigating these issues, irrespective of party, irrespective of political affiliation.
Precisely.
So it's definitely something that I believe we can talk further on.
And of course, during the week, we saw the interesting episode of Senator Dino Melaye, who narrowly and miraculously escaped from abductors who stopped his car. It was quite like a scene from a blockbuster movie. The way he narrated it, his car was stopped. Nollywood. His car was stopped on the highway, and then this guy shot at his car. Fortunately for him, it was a bulletproof car. And then they made their way to the bushes, tried to get tires. So set him on fire, set him on fire. And then in his very swift calculation, he decided to make a way into the forest, and then successfully climbed a tree, where he sat and watched the abductors looking out for him in the forest. Was such an interesting story. And he stayed there, according to him, for 11 hours.
Wow, that must have been a very strong...
The epiphany of Dino Melaye.
A very strong branch he sat on for 11 hours.
For 11 hours.
Wow. You see...
I would like to know, did he take phone calls during that period?
I would really like to know that, because... You know what? I don't want to speak too much about
Nigerian politics. Is really getting so
honestly, like
I
was saying to Ohimai earlier that throughout the next 4 to 6 months, we're going to see so many dramatic episodes playing out. And I personally look forward to it because I enjoy these things. But looking at the larger impact of the Nigerian society, we definitely have to be more critical about the behavior of our political leaders.
Exactly. And of course, we saw recently, across the week, a federal high court in Abuja ordered the arrest of the INEC chairman for refusing to show up in court after 3 times.
Wow.
Well, we don't know what the Nigerian police will do about this. Are they really going to arrest him?
Well, I guess time will tell, but that's all we have for you on our headline story today. Do stay with us. We have more interesting segments of the weekend show coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere.